welcome to episode 3 of Glenful House's Questions of the Week. If you haven't listened to any of our other episodes, they've been running for 2 weeks now. This is our 3rd week. My name's Charlotte. I'm the Communications Manager at Glenful House, which is a private events venue in Cheltenham. Each week we collate some of the questions that we've received from any of our guests or clients, and we bring you some that we think you'll find interesting to know the answers to that maybe necessarily aren't on our website. So without any further ado, the first question that we'll be answering this week is there a secure area for gifts? So quite often if it's a wedding, especially, the guests may bring wedding gifts along, and guests quite often want to know if there's a secure place within Glenful House that we can keep them for you. Now all of Glenful has CCTV. And actually where I am now, which if you're familiar with Glenful, is what we call our morning room. So we have a really big table in here, and that tends to be where people like to set up the gift table, and that's because this room is lockable. So potentially at a certain time in the evening, that's for a wedding or a party, anything like that, we can then actually shut the door to the morning room and lock it, and all the gifts then are just locked into the one room. Alternatively, we're happy to take the gifts and put them into a bedroom for you. Sometimes people take the gifts at a certain time of the night and put them into cars, parents' cars or anything like that. We also have our office, which is always usually manned, so there's pretty much somebody in there, and again that door can shut as well, so if there's anything particularly special that you want to put away, you can put it in the office. And then another alternative is potentially asking people, if it's something that you are nervous about, to not actually bring any gifts for you. There's lots of different websites now online where you can set up gift lists and they can actually get delivered directly to your door. So Prezzola, for example, I know one of our couples are currently using Prezzola, that you can put a big long list on, people can order you the gift and it gets delivered straight to you after the event. And also if it's money that you're worried about in cards, we have lockable post boxes. So we've got 2 post boxes here. Both of them have locks, so potentially the cards can go in, and again you can empty them at a certain time, or we can lock that away in a bedroom or the morning room, whichever you prefer. But also Prezzola has the ability to be able to send gifts, and they do it really cutely actually, because instead of just £20, they actually list it as £20 towards drinks on your honeymoon, or £20 towards dinner for 2 on your honeymoon. So they're actually really nice ways of collecting money without feeling like you're asking for money, because I know that seems to be sometimes a bit of an issue for some people. So yeah, we have various lockable rooms and we have CCTV everywhere, or maybe you can look at an alternative such as not actually getting your guests to bring gifts here if you're really worried. So we've got a bit more of a logistic question now for you, and that is how many people can sit at a table. So quite often, whether it's a wedding, if it's a private party, if it's a life celebration, you're going to have tables out. And if you're doing something such as a formal sit-down dinner, private dinner, wedding breakfast, you're going to need to know how many people can actually sit at each table, and then of course how many of them tables that we have. Now, the first thing I would say is if you have an idea of your numbers, always speak to your event coordinator, because they can advise you on the best room layout to accommodate for what you want to do, whether you want longs or rounds. But just so you've got the facts and figures there, we've got 2 types of round tables. We've got bigger ones and smaller ones. So we've got a 6-foot trestle, a 6-foot round and a 5-foot round. Now, the 6-foot round, we say, can seat a maximum of 12 guests. Now, that's 12 guests tight on the table. Ideally you want 10, I would say, as a maximum, but if you're struggling you can fit 12. Now we've got 3 of them bigger tables. Then the smaller ones, the 5-foot, again you can seat up to 10. Now again, comfortably you may want to aim for more around 8, but you can squeeze 10 on if you need to. If you're potentially looking at having longer tables as opposed to the round tables, then we've got 6-foot trestle tables. On a 6-foot trestle, you can fit up to 10 people if you want to. You can do 4 on each side and 2 on the ends. Again, that doesn't give much elbow room. So really, I would say 3 on each side is comfortable, and then if need be, you can use the ends. Now, those are sort of the facts and the figures of what we can sit at a table, but I would always recommend, above anything else, once you have an idea of your guest list, whether it's for your wedding breakfast, whether it's for your private dinner party, speak to your event coordinator, because there's certain things. So our rooms, for example, we can only seat up to 80 because we only have crockery on site for 80. Doesn't mean we can't go more, it just means we need to hire additional in. So, you may have to then start considering different options if you're going to start hiring things in, and we can do it all for you, but there'll just be an additional charge, whereas the 80 is already included. Likewise, if you need to go into a bigger space because you've got more guests, then you may want to go somewhere else apart from the ballroom. So I would always say specifically talk to your event coordinator. Another thing that may actually skew those numbers slightly is if you need high chairs at tables. So instead of babes in arms, or you want a space for a push chair, you actually want a high chair. Now Glenful have various high chairs here, so we have as many as you need. But high chairs, I don't know if you know, they've got sticky out legs, like tripod legs. So in theory, they take up more space around the table than an actual chair, because chairs' legs go straight down. These are really good diagrams. I'm sure you all know what I mean there. But the high chair legs, they come out. So again, you may not want to sit maybe 10 maximum on that table, because you're going to have high chairs. So you may think, okay, we'll put that on a table of 8. It might be more ideal. So always have a chat with your event coordinator, always go through what you would like to do, and then we can actually come up with table plans and room layouts that we can send over to you. So that's not a problem at all. So yeah, those are the maximum amounts we can sit on our tables. The next question, this is a fun one. Who is the main contact for the day of an event? Well, at Glenful, you might come across various different people. We're a small team, so we all know what's going on. So when you're first inquiring about having any event here with us, it'll be myself or Diane, our owner, who you actually speak with. And we'll get all of sort of the fundamentals in place for you. We'll go through all the different options, all the different packages. And once you actually go, yeah, perfect, that's what I want, then we pass it over to Katie, who's our operational manager. Now, Katie deals with the catering for you. So if you're having any catering that you want us to arrange, that's where Katie does it. And that's really because it works better if you have one person dealing with the suppliers for caterers, because they know what's going on, they know all the new menus, they know all the new prices. So that's why you then speak to Katie about actually getting the catering sorted for you. Once you've got your catering done, or you may have not spoke to Katie because you've already done catering with your coordinator, which isn't a problem at all. Don't panic if you haven't spoke to Katie, your catering might still be sorted. But once you've got your catering done with Katie, you'll then get handed over to your event coordinator, and it will be them that you deal with for everything else, and it will be them and Katie who are here on the day for you. So whether it's your corporate event, whether it's your live celebration, whether it's your wedding, you have a designated event coordinator and the operational manager here on the day. So you have a few different touch points, but we all like to be involved. We all know what's going on. We all enjoy it. So that's why you get to speak to a few different of us. Another question here. So this one is quite a specific one. Can alcohol be given as a party favour? Now, yes. Short answer is short and sweet, yes you can, but it's actually classed as a corkage charge because you're potentially giving it to guests to drink there and then. So we charge £2.50 for the little alcohol shots, little alcohol bottles, if you want to pop them out as party favours. Some different alternatives is you can buy a shot from the bar instead, so we can actually come round at the end of the meal and you can give them a little shot if alcohol is what you want to do, and then you can pick what you like, or you can potentially order different as well. Instead of having to buy one in bulk of the little favours, you can order different shots for different people from the bar. Other alternatives, if you still want to give them a little bit of a tipple, is maybe some alcohol infused favours. So you can get chocolate liqueurs, you can get gin or prosecco scented candles, you can get sort of champagne scented candles. So there's quite a few various different alcohol related presents that you can get. I'm sure you can even get alcohol biscuits and things as well now. So if it's that you really want to give them alcohol and you don't want to pay the corkage, then maybe look at a more alcohol infused gift. Or, as I say, everyone shots from the bar. That's quite fun, I think, if you set on the alcohol, because then you get to pick different things for different people. You can pick what they like then. And then our last but not least question, which is probably really appropriate today actually, because it was been a horrible day, horrible foggy day everywhere, but at least it was nice winter sun for the rest of the week, is do we have outdoor covered areas such as canopies in case of rain? Not canopies, not food, canopies in case of rain. So if you've been to Glenful, you'll see that we're very much a let's have a plan A and let's have a plan B venue for anything that we do. So we have an outdoor ceremony area for weddings, but we say, okay, that's what you'll do if the weather's nice, but let's have a plan B as well, because we live in the UK. It can rain at any point, unfortunately. So whereas we don't actually have outdoor covered areas apart from our gazebos by the bar, which tend to get used for anybody who definitely has to go outside if it's raining, we're looking at the smokers and those sort of things, and that's got a fire pit there. So it's a smaller gazebo just outside. What we actually advise is Glenful has so many rooms inside that and so many spaces that there's nothing that we can't plan that should be outside that can't come inside if it rains. For example, you've got 150 people for a ceremony down at the alcove and the weather turns bad, then we can bring you up to the hayloft where we can have 150 people. We seem to be quite lucky here. We seem to, touch wood, get away with the weather quite well. So we had a wedding in November just. It had been really bad rain all week before. The bride, Sarah, she was like, okay, yeah, it's going to have to come inside. I know that is fine. And then on the day, it actually seemed okay. Floor was a little bit wet and Sarah really wanted it outside. So we were like, right, let's go outside. So we seemed to manage to get away with the weather quite well. But if you wanted to be 100% sure that you could be outside still, you could always hire a larger gazebo. We've got plenty of grounds. There's no problems at all. We've put in a gazebo and we don't do marquees on the lawns, but you can have gazebos, so you can hire something that would potentially cover the outside space. That wouldn't be an issue. But I think the main takeaway from this is we have enough room inside that should there be an issue with the weather, it doesn't impact everything. A motto here is always you should love your plan B as much as you love your plan A, because you never know when plan B is going to have to happen. It could be too hot to go outside for anything. In the summer, for example, we had a particularly warm May this year, so it could be that you don't want to be outside as it's too hot. So then obviously you can come inside where we've got some fresh air when it's out the sun. So those were our 5 questions for our questions of the week, episode 3. I've gone a little bit over 10 minutes for the first time, sorry. And we were thinking, they're really quick answers this time, but I've waffled. Thank you very much for joining in. And thank you to everybody that comments every time telling us, oh yeah, we really enjoyed that, or you made us think of this, because that's what it's all for. So keep them coming. Obviously, keep asking us questions, because otherwise we'll run out of questions of the week. So it was, thanks for tuning in. Bye, guys.